Like a lower value truck like this truck, I got it for like 23, 22, somewhere around there. Typically you pay way less for insurance, sales taxes, registration. You paying way less on all that stuff compared to new. So if you planning on buying yourself a used pickup truck in 2025, I want to tell you guys something, because I went that route. There's pros and cons. So I'm going to be telling you guys the pros and cons on what do you really need to expect when you buy yourself, going the route of buying yourself a used pickup truck, things that you got to keep in mind, because, at the end of the day, it's not really, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing if you plan on buying used, but I just want you to keep in mind that there is an upside and there's a downside, just how it is with everything. But what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Happy Saturday. Nice chilly day, but we still got the sunlight out. Rocking out my new look. Cut the dreads, gonna be reattaching them. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I'm rocking out this new look right now. But with that being said, let's talk about what do you really need to expect when you are going the route of buying yourself a used pickup truck. Most of the time, things that one thing I would say though, when you plan on buying used, the biggest thing to keep in mind that I feel like most people probably, I would say that's like most people's reasons to buy used, because obviously you're going to be saving yourself a shit ton of money. You're going to be saving a lot of money. So you got to understand, when you plan on buying used, a used truck pretty much has, the good thing about it is the fact that you're going to have a lower upfront cost, slower depreciation, and your insurance is going to be a lot cheaper. And that's 100% true, because right now, I'll tell you guys right now, one thing I can say is this truck right now, being my age, most people insurance is crazy high for, my age right now. I'm 29. So one thing I can say is, for my age, my insurance I'm paying right now on this truck with State Farm, full coverage, everything. Right now, my insurance is about, being honest, is like 115, sometimes 120, and which is a pretty good deal for full coverage. I'm saying full coverage. I got the roadside insurance, assistant, all of that. It's not like the cheap. You guys know how State Farm is. State Farm not one of them cheap insurance and stuff like that. But I came from years ago. I remember having my insurance when I first got like my second vehicle. I was paying like around $300 and something. But it's different for everybody. But I'm just saying, like, the top three things is you get a lower upfront cost, slower depreciation on your vehicle, and the most important is insurance. If I could save money on insurance, it's a huge good thing, especially too if you go on a route of you financing a used pickup truck like this and you paying less on insurance. That's a huge up right there, I would say. So another thing is to keep in mind too, I'm going to tell you guys right now, what is the pro of you buying a used truck? So the good thing about going the route of buying yourself a used truck, let me try to fix my camera up real quick. So I got one hand right now and I got my other phone in my hand. So what is the good thing about you going out, instead of you buying yourself a new truck like this, you go on a route and say you want to buy yourself used. So the first thing, most importantly, is the fact that you get a lower cost, way less lower than what you would pay for a truck like this, brand new. So we in 2025 right now, right? Let's say you want to go buy one of these trucks right now. Obviously not a 2014, but a 2025, a Ram 5.7 Hemi. Like this, you're going to be spending brand new, like I'm saying, roughly like 50K, brand new, depending on miles, all that stuff, spec, you're gonna be spending somewhere around like 50,000. So another thing, good thing about you going a route of buying used is the fact that you have a slower depreciation. Most truck, like the steeper drop in the value of a vehicle like this, tend to happen in the first few years. The first few years and stuff, that's when like a new truck life, the value and stuff like that drop like crazy. But you got to understand, guys, like, I think that, just to clarify, if if people, because most of the time people talk shit like, you could buy used such and such, you get all this stuff. Yes, you get a newer truck, but you got to understand, the biggest thing is you saving yourself a lot of effing money, especially to like, it's kind of crazy, right? When you buy a truck today, a brand new truck or a car, at the end of the day, as soon as you drive that car off the lot, that car value drops. Like the minute you drive it off the lot, it drops. When you try to, let's say you pay $50,000-$60,000 for a brand new car, and then you try to take it back like the next day or so to the dealership, even if they do decide to take that car back, they're not gonna give you what you end up paying for a vehicle like that. They're not gonna give you all your money back. So you're really gonna be losing out. My next thing, my third thing for buying a used truck is the fact that you are going to get a cheaper insurance and taxes. With like a lower value truck like this truck, I got it for like 23, 22, somewhere around there. Typically you pay way less for insurance, sales taxes, registration, you're paying way less on all that stuff. Compared to new, you're going to be paying like crazy to see. Like, I'm telling you guys, man, like when you buy, like, especially one of them like brand new trucks with all the specs, crazy specs, like you looking at your tax stuff, they're gonna be like up, like I'm talking like probably like roughly around like $2,000, $3,000, sometimes more, depending. I'm just putting out numbers out there, but you're not gonna be doing like $200, $300 and stuff. Like my tax for everything, I remember with my registration, insurance, and a Jersey tax and stuff like that, because I'm in a different state, PA, it came up to like $450, somewhere around there. Now that might seem like a lot of money to some people, but I'd rather pay $450 on registration tax and stuff like that than for me to pay, like, you buying a vehicle brand new for $50,000, and then you're not really buying it for $50K. Your tax, everything add up to like $55. Kind of crazy though, but that's how it is for most newer trucks and cars and stuff like that. I'm not here to try to disappoint you guys, but I'm just being real. Like, if you go on a route of you buying used, there's a more upside buying used than you buying brand new and stuff like that. My next thing is the fact that you're gonna have a way more wider selection. Like, you have more choices of you finding yourself like a truck like this with way more options. Even if you find another one, like most time when you go to a dealership, like a used car dealership, they have a ton of options that you can pick from. When you plan on buying like any kind of used car or truck, you have a lot of options and stuff like that. New, you don't have much options when it comes to you selecting, that spec that you want, unless you buying it from the freaking manufacturer and stuff like that. And then you get to choose exactly how you want it to be built. So that's one of the good things. And then another thing is the fact that when you buy a used truck, you might have, because I remember buying myself the car before I got this truck. It was a Ford Fusion. When you buy a used truck car, at the end of the day, sometimes you still have like the warranty from like the manufacturer still be on there. I'm not saying every used truck, cars and stuff, but most of the time it be like that. It's not like when you buy like a brand new car, you have to pay for warranty and stuff like that. You got to buy the warranty on it and stuff. From my understanding, I believe that's how it goes. You got to buy warranty. If you go into like a certified pre-owned dealership, you could find yourself a truck like this that still have warranty on it. There's a I'll say 60% chance. Like the car I had before that gave me a ton of issue, that Ford Fusion, it still had warranty on it. It's crazy. It had the warranty from like the previous, like the first owner that had it before. But I went through hell and back with that car, man. I would never ever in my life get a Ford Fusion again. But now, let's talk about the cons of you buying a pickup truck like this used. So the cons, meaning like the bad part about you buying a used pickup truck. Obviously, like I say, it's one of them things where it's like an up and down to it. Everything has an up and down to it. So you can't find anything that's going to be perfect. So now, first thing is higher maintenance and repair costs. A used truck car at the end of the day could require more maintenance, unexpected repair bills, especially if it has a high mileage. But don't get me wrong, gotta wait for the train to go past. Super effing loud right now. Now, there are chances that you could be able to avoid doing like that. You could avoid that though. I'm not saying that there's ways where you could, if you go and buy something used, you can always go with a mechanic, drive it, test it out. Sometimes dealership offer you warranty and stuff like that on a car that you buy, a used certified pre-owned dealership. You can buy warranty and stuff just to be on the safe side. You can go that route, or if you know about cars, you drive a car like this, test it out, like what I did with this truck. You know, I tested it out, made sure everything was fine, and then also it came with 1 year warranty on it from the dealership, and which was a pretty good deal because I had an issue that happened to this truck. If you guys don't know, they had to replace the torque converter on this truck, and that's an expensive fix, $3,000. So the dealership ended up covering that and fixing it for me. And then I think the water pump on it went bad too. They repaired that for me too, which I was happy about because that was like within 2 months of ownership with this truck. So I had to repair that. And another thing is, for the bad part, the kind of you buying used is the fact that less or no warranty. Most used trucks are sold as it is, which is true. Cars too, with a limited time warranty, leaving you with a responsibility for cost covering by, any kind of repair you got to do, which is true though. You can, but nowadays, like I'm saying, like if you go to any kind of dealership nowadays, you still have the option to buy a warranty. Sometimes it could be, they have 3 kind of warranty. They can have the cheap, the standard, and then the expensive kind. If you don't, just in case if you buy yourself a truck like this, you don't have anything saved up, you buy yourself a warranty, cover the trans, anything with the engine and stuff like that, you'll be good though. But there are the bad things. You have options. You still have the options to be able to get the vehicle used and still be able to be on like a good side. I'll call it like a good side compared to you buying brand new, spending all that money. That bike right there sounds super good, yo. He just started up just now, trying to zoom in, but I can't. I don't know how to you zoom in, but that's just one of them things, man. It's like you can't have it all. You can't have it all at the end of the day. You can't have it all at the end of the day. Now, another thing to keep in mind buying used is most time some used vehicles have like an unknown history, pretty much. You never know how the past owner treat the vehicle or what that vehicle might be experiencing. But like I stated before, there's ways you could be able to know about a vehicle that if you're buying it used, all you got to do is look at the VIN number, the history of. One of the things I go off of, I don't know if you do, but I go off how many owner this vehicle had before. So how many owner this vehicle had before is what normally would tell you if this vehicle is a good vehicle. That bike sounds so nasty, y'all. I think that might be a BMW bike, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, yo. One thing I want to get a bike though. Maybe within the next couple years. But I'm gonna give you guys an example. I went out a couple weeks ago to go look for a car for my mom, and I remember it was a Jeep Wrangler or something like that. And that Jeep, believe it or not, that Jeep was a nice Jeep, lifted up, tires, everything. You know, you can never go off looks when you go and see a car. You know, get excited and then without you checking everything. So when we want to go check out that Jeep, we ran like the vehicle VIN number history came up. A lot of you not. That's like the most owners I ever seen on a vehicle. That Jeep had about 12, 13 owners. And the crazy part was in like a short amount of time. So that tells you like, yo, there's something going on with this car or truck at the end of the day. Let me stay away from it. You know, that's like the biggest sign right there. Like this truck behind me, I remember when I first got this truck, it had maybe, I think it maybe had like 1 or 2 owners, somewhere around there. I believe it had like 1 or 2 owners. And the crazy thing about it, this was like they owned it for about, like the first owner had it for about, at least he had it for a while. And then the second owner had it for a couple years too. And I do believe I'm the third owner. Obviously, I'm the third owner now. I don't know if it was the second owner or I might be the second owner. I'm not too sure, but I did remember looking at the VIN number, everything checked out. That's like your first sign for you to be able to know like, yo, this car I got right here, this vehicle here at the end of the day is a good vehicle and, you know, I'm going to buy it. That's like your first sign to tell you like, yo, you got yourself, and this effing bike, man, it's like the third time. But it sounds good though, I ain't going to lie. It sounds definitely good. So that should be something that should be able to tell you like, yo, you got yourself a good vehicle, you know. That's like your first sign, I'll say. But if you see multiple owners for a short amount of time, obviously any kind of fender bender and stuff like that, depending too, that's another sign too to look at like, yo, I'm gonna stay away from this vehicle. And then my last but not least, this is something that's not really like a big deal for me, honestly. When you buy used, you have a fewer modern features and stuff like that, such as older models may lack like the newest stuff, technologies and stuff like that, safety feature, better fuel economy and stuff like that, little things like that. Like my truck right now, this truck overall to me look better, way better than a 2025 Ram from the outside. I'll be honest. The inside, don't get me wrong, a 2025 Ram, 24 Ram look way better than my truck on the inside. But the outside, I'll say Ram definitely, this like, right now, in my personal opinion, I think Ram, this is like the best generation Ram that Ram ever made. Like this look right here, it's the look that really stand for Dodge Ram. Like when it was Dodge Ram before, the Guts Glory Ram, when they had that little commercial and stuff like that, if you guys remember, I think like this look right here is really what represent that. But just to clarify for you guys, man, like I'm not trying to, you know, make anybody feel some kind of way, but at the end of the day, you gotta understand there's always like a pro and con of you buying anything used. But like I stated, there's more ups buying used than there is like there's way more good for you buying used compared to you buying used and having more bad stuff. Like there's few bad things, but there's ways that you can go about it too. Like I stated, it's not like there's not no ways, but you know, that's with anything at the end of the day. But nowadays, the smartest thing for you to do is to buy used, even if you don't have money. I mean, even if you have money, buy used. When you buy certain cars up, now like a supercar, you could buy used if you want. You know, that's a smart thing. You save way more money. But I'm about to end this video now. Y'all, do me a huge favor. If you're still watching, like and subscribe to the channel, y'all. I cannot wait till 2026. We couple weeks away from 2026, yo. It's crazy to see. Your boy been uploading on YouTube for about a year. 1 year consistently. Crazy, y'all. I'm telling you that just to put it out there. If you watch my channel, this is a message I want to give to you guys, man. At the end, you could do whatever the F you want. If you believe you could do it, you definitely could do it. You know, you just got to have that mindset. And I definitely believe this truck right here behind me gonna be one of the fastest Ram on YouTube, guys. You guys, we're gonna replay this video a couple years from now. Definitely gonna be handing out a few L's with this truck once I built this truck to the way I wanted to build it. But Do me a favor, like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Stay safe. Peace out.